Hey, what's up everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is Queen Sugar Season 3, Episode 7, and the name of this episode is Study War No More. This was a really good episode, and I'm so happy that Queen Sugar is back. But, yeah, this was a lot went down in this episode, and I'm going to try my best to group everything together so I don't make this too long. But if it does get long, bear with me, because honestly, I don't try to make my reviews long. It's just that so much comes out that I just go on a journey, and hopefully, you guys actually love the journey that I'm taking you on, But yeah, I just get very passionate about, some of these scenarios or ideals that actually are presented in these shows, and it just takes me somewhere. So let me begin here. But this was a really good episode. So the first person I'm gonna discuss is Nova. Because the big event of this episode is that it's Vi's 60th birthday, and they have this very big get together for her. But I'm definitely gonna tap into Hollywood and Vi, because they definitely played a big part in this episode. But first, let me begin with Nova. We get a scene where Nova is still working, on her book idea, about the black farmers. And we see that she's talking to Prosper. And she asks Prosper about himself, because, Prosper was definitely the best friend of Ernest. And he talks about how he first met Ernest and how he wanted to see the world and just play his music, because he used to jazz it up with the fellas, and that's how he met Ernest. And he said that, he ended up serving time in the war, and then after being in the war, thinking Vietnam, he didn't want to study war no more, but he wanted to study, how to bring life from the ground versus, killing, and he said that he wanted to make things grow rather than make things die. So that's where he started to grow a love for working the land, which actually brought him and Ernest even closer. And of course she asks us about, his whole situation with the land, because we know that he's been leasing from the Landrys, and he's being evicted off of his property. And he said that, look, I've tried to buy my land for years, but them damn white folks, they ain't trying to give up no land. Exactly. Because we know, white people know the truth, that there's power in ownership. Yeah, take that gem. There's power in ownership. So he was saying that, so he pretty much said that, look, Sam, literally had his hand in the pot across the board. So we couldn't do anything without Sam, which is why your father struggled so hard to get things, going on his land, because Sam controlled everything around him, which is going to come to play later, because because in this episode, we find out exactly what Landry is trying to do. And it even goes back to when Ernest was alive in his prime, where he was having issues, turning a profit off of his land. There was always these blocks, that he was going up against, and it was as if Sam Landry literally had his foot on Ernest's back. And he said that your father struggled with this farm a lot because of Landry and the conditions that he set around him. And then he also talked about that it even got to the point that after True died, Nova's mother, he really went into a very deep depression. Like, one, he lost the love of his life. He's dealing with issues with Sam Landry and, trying to turn a profit off of his land. And then now he's left with children to raise on his own. And he talks about a night where he was roaming the fields, aimlessly, and Prosper came to his aid. And we actually come in, and Nova's like, well, what was so big about him roaming the fields? I mean, people sometimes, you know, go on a, you know, walk or whatever to get things off of their mind, but he dropped the bomb when he let her know he had a pistol in his hand. So Ernest was contemplating suicide. This shakes Nova's core because she's always had this image of her dad being this strong, you know, powerful man, and to know that he was literally thinking about taking his own life, it really just shook her up. Like, she just could not believe that her father would do something like this. But I loved how Prosper, you know, literally got her where he was like, look, you know, even the strongest person can find themselves in dark places. And at the end of the day, the fact that he was contemplating suicide was not because he was weak. Because he was brave enough to show me what he was dealing with. He was brave to show me he was hurting. And I stopped him from going down that path. Because if Prosper wasn't there, Ernest probably would have did it. I mean, that's a lot to deal with. That's a lot of pressure on any man to deal with. So this definitely shakes Nova up, because she's like, oh my God, like, she had no idea, because Daddy always put up this very strong image in front of his kids, and as parents, they have to be strong, because my mother was the same way with me growing up. So I get that, but it was just really deep that, you know, Ernest was seriously thinking about killing himself, and if it wasn't for Prosper, he probably would have. And it took him to admit that I'm hurting, that I've reached, I've now put myself in a place where I don't see a way out. And the reason why I'm talking about this a lot is because I've been in that spot. You know, I can say I am a survivor as well, because I, you know, just telling the truth here, I actually contemplated back in 2006. And just like Prosper did for Ernest, somebody did the same for me. And I want to shout out, you know, I want to send a personal shout out to my boy Abdul, you know, because I'm still cool with him to this day. And I can honestly say, if it wasn't for him coming downstairs, I probably wouldn't be probably sitting here talking to you right now. So I get it. You know, some of the strongest people get to that place where you don't see a way out and everything is coming at you. And it can really put you in a place where you want to end it, because you just don't want to continue to deal with all of this negative energy from so many different directions. But you just need that guardian angel or that good friend who's going to be there for you in that dark time to say, no, there is another way. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Even though you see darkness, there is a light. And me talking to Abdul is the reason why I'm here. Because now I put myself in a place where when I feel myself getting into that, I will never want to take my life now. I want to live, and I want to see things through. So, and I think Ernest made that breakthrough as well. But this definitely shook up Nova. And we see that what ends up happening is that, you know, it's Vi's birthday party, and they have this very big get together for her. So while at the party, you know, Nova is kind of distant to herself because of what she just found out. And we see that Remy goes over there, and I'm gonna get on Remy's ass, because it's plainly obvious that Remy may have a hidden agenda, because he's actively pursuing Nova after being with Charlie. And it's really making me look at Remy in a totally different way, to the point I'm now like looking at Remy like, you a messy motherfucker. Because here it is, she's by herself, and he always catches her in these vulnerable moments. So he's trying to talk to her, and then you see Aunt Vi, you know, she's like, girl, get out here and get on the dance floor. And then he's like, oh yeah, you know, I've been known to to cut a rug myself. And he, you know, he puts out his hand, it's like, come on here. And At first she was like, look, I really am not in the mood, and I'd rather just be by myself right now, but thank you for coming out, but I'm not trying to go there with you. And then we see him getting all sad and all bent, and he walks away and puts on his cowboy hat. But then later on in the party, we see that Nova is, taking some dishes, and then all of a sudden Remy comes there again, and then all of a sudden he just kind of gives that same puppy dog look that he gave to Charlie, and then he starts caressing, Nova's hand, and I'm like, this is so wrong on so many levels, but yet it's so right. And shout out to Ava DuVernay, because and shout out to the writers, because this is like a real catch-22 in a way, because it's like you see that there's serious chemistry between them, but it's so wrong because of what's going on around them, and also the connections that they have with everybody else. If this comes out, this is going to piss a lot of people off, mainly Charlie. But yeah, it just really bothered me, because I'm like, you see that there's chemistry there, but it's so wrong because so many people can be hurt, and so many people are not going to like this, especially Charlie. You just not too long ago got out of a relationship with Charlie. I understand you moving on because Charlie's moving on, and I'm going to talk about Charlie as well. But are women like, do women have a low population in the parish at St. Joe's, that you have to go after her sister when there's other available women around that you could try to pursue? So yeah, it's definitely making me look at Remy with a different set of eyes, and I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it at all. Because I'm like, bro, you already know that this situation is going to be some drama, and yet you're willfully going after it. So, Remy, you're kind of saying you don't give a fuck about anybody. Or you don't give a damn about how the family's going to feel. You're going to actively pursue this woman, even if you know that it's not going to end well for either one of you. So, that's what I have to say about Nova's situation. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is Ralph Angel. We see that Ralph Angel actually has to sit down with Benny. Benny pretty much confesses to him that, look, I messed up. I just invited a friend over. I didn't realize he was going to invite more friends over. And, I didn't mean to disrespect your house or your son or anything like that. I'm really... And I think he really was sincere and said that, look, but that's the reason why you don't invite people to somebody else's shit. And if anything, you should have made it clear it should be just you. But he wanted to bring all of his friends, and we saw what happened in that last episode. They were doing a hell of a lot up in Ralph Angel's house. And Ralph Angel pretty much told him that, look, I don't play when it comes to my kid. Because, Benny is like questioning, like, one, he put Benny out, but then also Benny's afraid he's going to lose his job. But then he said that, look, but throughout my life, people have given me second chances. I'm going to give you a second chance. So I'm like, I commend Ralph Angel for not firing Benny. But yeah, Benny, you need to find another place to lay your head, because, don't nobody need that kind of energy in their house, especially when he's trying to raise a son. So I thought that was real, but I'm glad that him and Benny had that conversation. And then I think so I think after he was talking to Benny, he gets a call from Darla. And Darla, him and Darla pretty much have a conversation, and he's like, they're talking about Blue, and Ralph Angel's like, well, I'm least happy that Blue don't want to leave no more. And he was saying, and Darla said that, look, kids say things when they're angry, just like their parents. But she had said that she just painted Blue's room, and she actually made some plans for that weekend, to spend the weekend with Blue. But he flat out told her that Vi's birthday is on Saturday. So she was like, okay, well, I can get him the next day, and we can go out to eat with something. And he just kind of like, he's just being very dismissive with Darla, and it's very evident he's still in love with her, and he's still traumatized by what she did. And I'm all here, and I'm not going to even attack Ralph, because I understand where he's coming from right now. He's trying to move forward after all of this, but you don't realize, Darla, you shaking that man to his core. But right now, he's kind of very dismissive to Darla. And then we also see in this episode that at the party, he invites Trin. And it was kind of iffy of like how he was going to introduce Trin, but Trin was like, look, we work together. We're work friends. We're work buddies. And, he introduces Trin to Aunt Vi, and, and then he also introduces Trin to Blue. Now, Blue, at first, was kind of standoffish, but Trin has this very warm personality. Like, she just has this way about her that people gel towards her. And Blue was no exception, because once she started complimenting him on his sneakers, and, after a while, her and Blue was chatting it up with her. Because he's seeing that, okay, there's another woman, but the way that Ralph presented her to Blue was everything. And at first, so then we see that Aunt Vi comes in and lets Ralph Angel know we need more ice. So he goes to the store to get some ice, and Trin at first wasn't gonna go, but he was like, you might as well tag along. You and Blue can talk more. So we see that they go to the store to get the ice, and while they're at the convenience store, we see at the gas station, Darla's ass is there, and Darla sees him and Trin, and you see Blue interacting with Trin, and they're having fun and everything, and Darla is just sitting there all sad and twisted, and I was like, that's what you get, bitch. I'm saying, you created this shit, so you need to own it. And she's tearing up, and Ralph Angel sees her and gets in the car and drives the fuck off. So she's feeling personally like attacked by him. But I'm like, Darla, you gotta own this shit, because you created this. I commend Darla because she is getting herself together. She got her own place. Even the way she dressed and the way that she presents herself, she's not the same person. But yet, you still have left scars that it's going to take time to heal. And some of them, he may never heal from, because you're the love of his life. And he literally broke down and proposed to your ass. The man had tears in his eyes. And it is not easy for a black man to cry in front of his woman. So when he cries in front of you, that man is writing for you. And the fact that you would break him like that, because I think Darla knew that it was a strong possibility that Ralph Angel wasn't the father of Blue. But she kind of kept it going, because it was comfortable. And on top of it, she kind of, she suffered from what we all know as crackhead syndromes. You try to get over any way you can to get what you want. And we notice that Darla has that trait. But to see that here it is, Ralph Angel is not only talking to another woman, but then also this woman is bonding with Blue, definitely made her feel some kind of way. Because at one point, that was her. And now she's seeing Trin in that space that she used to have. So later on, they run into each other, because I think she's there to pick up, this is the day after Vi's birthday party. And we see that in this scene, Darla literally lets him know that, look, we need to have a schedule. And he's like, we ain't gonna put Blue on no schedule. She's like, we need to have a schedule, because it seems to me you're trying to sabotage any means for me to spend time with Blue. Because I had planned a whole weekend for us. I repainted his room, and I was really looking forward to spending time with Blue this weekend. But then here you go telling me that Vi's birthday parties this weekend, knowing that I'm not invited and knowing that I'm not welcome. So, what do you? So yeah, what makes you think that we don't need a schedule? And then Ralph Angel's like, I'm not trying to keep Blue from you. I'm like, yeah, you're not trying to keep Blue from her, but at the end of the day, you're not really kind of letting her at the table that much either, because here it is, she had plans, and you just kind of threw her plans down the toilet, like, well, Vi's birthday this weekend. And she says you could have, but then again, you could have let her know ahead of time, so therefore she wouldn't have wasted her time making all these plans and all of that. And we see that, yeah, there's still a lot of anger and a lot of tension between Darla and Blue. I mean, between Darla and Ralph Angel. And we see that Darla kind of tears up and she takes Blue on. So from that point, we got a lot, from Ralph Angel at that moment, that, yeah, Ralph Angel is still hurting. And I, for one, understand it. When someone hurts you to the core, that's not something you're going to easily bounce back from. Darla has, gotten herself together, which I'm glad she's done. But at the end of the day, you want equal share when yet you were the one who caused the bullshit. I mean, even that whole situation last week when Blue was saying, I want mommy. I want to stay with mommy. I mean, the good thing I can say why I respect the Borderlones, even after all the shit Darla's done, they never talked bad about Darla to him. So here it is, he thinks mommy shits apple pie. But we all know Darla ain't shitting no apple pie. Darla brings a lot of shit. Okay, and she's brought a lot of shit on this family. Especially Ralph. So, it really just shows right now that, okay, yes, your mother is the reason why all the mess is happening, but yet he kept her dignity to the point where where Blue looks up to his mother versus looking down on her. So I respect Ralph Angel for the fact that he's never talked bad about Darla to him. And he's dealing with a lot. But every time he sees Darla, yeah, that tension and that anger comes out. But, within time, Ralph Angel's going to have to come to grips that, look, this is Blue's mother and you're going to have to work with her. Due to the fact that she hurt you to the core, you're going to have to get to the place where you both can actually parent the child equally and you're not stepping on each other's toes. So that's what I have to say about that. Now I'm going to talk about, Charlie. And let's just say Charlie had a lot going on in this episode too. When we first see Charlie's at like this coffee shop or whatever, and there's a paper where it's talking about Davis West embracing his new teenage daughter. So she's still dealing with that. Then we see that she goes in her purse and she pulls out Romero's number. So I'm thinking, oh, you better call him? Shoot. Romero, yes. But then we see that she's there, to meet with Jacob. And her and Jacob are pretty much talking shop or whatever, business. And she was like, you really had to come out here and meet me to talk business? But then he was like, I really wanted to see you, it's been a while. So they haven't seen each other since that night when they were at that tavern and they kissed. And, he was saying that, look, I want to take you out and show you a good time, but then she was like, yeah, but, the reason why I've been standoffish is because I've been attending family matters. Yeah, family matters that, in some way Sam Landry has his hand in. Family issues, that is. But then he was saying that, look, I want to take you out again. But this time I want to take you somewhere where, there will be no distractions from anybody. And we can just, we can actually just, enjoy each other. So Charlie decides to tell him the truth that, look, I like you. Because you kind of have like this little Romeo and Juliet thing going on between Jacob and Remy. They come from two separate houses, but there is something there between them. But it's to the point now where Charlie's like, look, I like you and all, but I think we need to stick to business, and I need time. And she does. I mean, she just found out that the love of her life literally lived a lie right to her face for years. And this whole time he had a damn daughter, and he knew about the damn child, and literally played to her face and didn't tell her anything. So it's like she's another person that's hurting to the core, just like Ralph Angel, which is not surprising why her and Ralph Angel have connected in such a way, because they both are somewhat dealing with the same thing. Like, the person that they loved, the person that they connected to, the person that they really wanted to spend the rest of their life with, broke them in the worst way. But the thing with Charlie, he not just only broke her once, he broke her twice. Once when she found out he was cheating on her, but then that he actually had a whole kid that he hid from her for 13 years. Like, that's deep. So, but we can definitely tell that Jacob felt some kind of way, because Jacob really likes her. But he's like, okay, fine, we'll keep it business. But the way he walked off, he felt some kind of way. But then again, I'm glad she did, because there's a whole bunch of shit coming from the Landrys. And with this whole situation with them, zoning the land and all of that, everything that she's getting from Jacob ain't adding up. So she's kind of looking at Jacob with that third eye, like, I don't know about you. And I get it. So another thing I want to talk about too is that while they were at the party, we had a scene with Micah and Kiki. So yeah, we saw Kiki. Kiki was getting down and everything, and then we see that there was a scene where Kiki and Micah were making out in the room or whatever, and Aunt Vi, being the auntie, busted out. She's like, y'all need to come back to the party. Y'all been in this room by yourselves. I'm about like, y'all ain't gonna be up here making babies up in my house. I'm like, and that's just so, that's auntie right there. That's real. Cause, yeah, you ain't gonna be, courting and frolicking up in my space. So she came up in there, was like, yeah, y'all need to go back outside to the party. But when she steps out, Micah tells her that, Aunt just hit me up. They wanna, they're gonna be hanging out by the pier later. You wanna go? And she's like, nah. And he's like, but I thought you guys were friends. She says we were, but throughout the years, we kind of grew apart from each other. They are who they are. I am who I am. We're just in different places. And she's like, no, I want to stay and enjoy the party. It's Vi's birthday. I'm not dipping out on the birthday party. And then all of a sudden, they start getting closer. And then all of a sudden, Vi comes in. She's like, I said go back to the party. And then all of a sudden, she's going to follow Micah. She's like, Kiki, that way. I was like, I'm buying, playing. So we definitely see that going on. And also at the party, we see that just like Nova, Charlie is feeling some kind of way as well, because of everything she's dealing with Davis. The fact that she, had to, cut things off. Well, pretty much what she had to, like, I won't say cut things off, but she actually, let Jacob know that she's not trying to pursue nothing with him. She just wants to keep it business. So she has a lot going on too. And Prosper, and I love Prosper. Prosper is such an amazing black man, and I love Prosper's character. But Prosper goes out there and talks to her, and to check in on her, and he can tell Charlie's going through it. And she's going through it so much that she can't even speak it, because she feels so betrayed and so misused and so broken at her core. But Prosper shares something with her. He was like, look, my wife Claire was the love of my life, but Claire was my second wife. So that got Charlie's attention, and she was like, look, just because one situation ends doesn't mean that your love story has to end. It doesn't end with one person. So you have a choice to either stay in the past or embrace your future. That rang bells with Charlie, and I was like, Prosper, you better do it, my brother. You better say it, because I was so here for that. And then we also see in this episode that she actually goes out with Romero. They go out to a diner, and we see that they definitely have chemistry as well, because just like Charlie is about her family, Romero is the same way. He's pretty much, an immigrant from Mexico. He has a lot of family that are still over in Mexico, and he says that he jumps the border constantly, bringing things to help care for his family. But he's trying to set things up where he can actually bring his family over, to the United States, where they can live a better life. And he was saying that his brother right now is maintaining the family, keeping everybody up, but his whole mission is to better and care for his family, which I utmost respect. But then he was saying, so then they start talking about food and all of that, because Romero's a foodie, and I love it because I'm a foodie as well. And they start talking about, food and cuisines and all of that. And Charlie was real. She was like, look, the only thing that I know how to cook is in a microwave. I don't do the cooking. But he was saying that, hey, I know a little trick or two, so maybe the next time we hook up, I'll cook for you. I was like, okay, Romero, you working it. I ain't mad at you, Romero. Yes, I'm liking Romero. Like, yeah, he wants to cook for the woman. And that's a way to a woman's heart if you know how to throw down. So I was like, that's what's up. So next, I'm gonna talk about Hollywood and Vi. It's Vi's 60th birthday party. She also talks about, because we saw in the last episode, she actually met with the owner of the grocery store, and he said he wanted to back her and do business with her and help take her to the next level. And I pretty much said in that last episode, Boo Boo, you need to get that contract reviewed by a lawyer, which is why, me being a legal consultant with Legal Shield, I put that out there that, yeah, you need to definitely get a legal team that you'll have access to at all times, especially if you're in business for yourself. So we come to find out that contract, it's a 60-40 contract. He gets 60 and she gets 40. She's like, with this damn kind of contract shit, it's like I'm working for him. Here it is, I'm trying to work for myself. I ain't trying to work for nobody. But she says, I got an idea to pitch. And she says she wants her own store where it's nothing but Vi's pies and Vi's products. She says that, shoot, I ain't come all this far in my life to be just some well-paid mammy. Because initially, that's exactly what that contract would be. She'll make money off of it, but she'll never make as much money as him when it's her baby. It's her product. It's her ideas. So they talked about that, and then we see that Hollywood gives her this box, and in the box it was nothing in it. He was saying that it's empty for a reason, because you know what you want, and whatever it is you want me to put in that box, I'll put in there. Because I love me some Hollywood. Hollywood is the black man that I aspire to be. He's going to be real upfront with you. He ain't going to play no games. But he's a man of heart. He's a man of courage. And he's a man that loves his woman and loves his family. So I totally take my hat off to him. But then when he mentions that you about to be the future, Violet Baudelaire Desailly, we see that Violet did not like that. She ain't like that at all. Then we also get another surprise. Hollywood's mother, Willa Mae, shows up. And we already get that there was some tension between her and Vi in the past. But she even brings Vi a gift, she gives her an apron that says Vi's Pies on it. So she knows about her being an entrepreneur, and she lets Vi know that she's proud of her. So she actually has a different set of eyes, when it comes down to Vi. But then we saw later on, Vi and Hollywood and his mother had a conversation, and she was kind of letting them know that, look, you putting all of this on, of being a part of Vi, but what are you doing for you? As much as you wanted kids, and yet you're doing this, You know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to take care of yourself? You know, what are you gonna do to you know, don't get lost in this, that you forget to take care of yourself, you know, and get what you want. You know, and I'm like, okay, okay, Mama Willa May, you coming off kind of messy, but later on, she explains herself even further, because, you know, even at the party, you know, Hollywood does a toast to Vi, and he says that yes, my future wife, you know, give me a second. Okay, sorry about that, y'all, but yeah, I definitely got some business calls to make after this video, so yeah. I'm on it. but yeah, so what ends up happening is from that is that you know, he does a toast to Vi at the party, and he again announces, you know, the future Violet Bordelon Desolé, my future wife, and we see Violet is not liking that, and we see later on, you know, after the party, you know, Hollywood was trying to get that birthday sex, and Vi was like, I'm not in the mood, and he's like, that's a new one on me. Shoot, and this your birthday? Seriously? What's going on? What did I do now? And Vi opens up and says that, look, I am Violet Bordelon, and I want to continue to be Violet Bordelon. Every part of me wants to be with you. You are the man of my life. I love you. I want to marry you, but I don't want to change my name. So Hollywood, being the man, also put it out there that, look, you know, you told me to stay. You told me you didn't want me involved in your business. I stayed out of that. You also, you know, and pretty much, yeah. And but then she was like, you know, I don't want to hurt you, or whatever. But he really takes this whole thing of her not taking his name. He takes that to heart, as a lot of men would in a situation like this. But then again, he gets clarity then, you know, when he talks to his mother. But he was saying that, you know, he was saying that, look, you say you don't want my money. You don't want me involved in your business. You don't even want me involved in your whole health situation. He's like, what can I give? Like, it seemed to me the one thing that I could give you, you don't even want. And they kind of go back and forth, and she was saying that, look, you know, I want to be with you, but at the end of the day, I'm going to keep my name, and I don't want to hurt you, but, you know, if it's going to be an issue, it is what it is. And Hollywood said that it was never an issue until now, and Hollywood gets pissed off and he leaves. And I kind of felt some kind of way about that, because she was saying that I don't want no one holding nothing over me. You know, it's like me taking your name. It's like you own me. And we know why Vi is feeling this way, because we know from the past, her and Jimmy Dill's relationship was physically abusive. He was controlling, and he put her down, and she doesn't want to live that again. And we see that later on, you know, Willa May and Hollywood have another conversation, and he is hell-bent on talking about, because he pretty much says that you are hell-bent on saying that you don't need me. But it's not really that, though. She does need you. But a lot of it is coming from a hurt place. And that's exactly what Willa May tells him. That, look, at the end of the day, this woman is in her 60s. She's established. She's already... She's an established woman. So you're dealing with a different kind of woman. And on top of it, you know, she's an entrepreneur now. So her name is everything. And on top of it, when she was young as a black woman, we didn't have those opportunities. And I'm like, she identified exactly where Vi was coming from. And she said that even though we have been through some battles, doesn't mean that they're not scars. And some scars you never get over. You just learn how to live with them. And that spoke to him. And she's saying that you don't want, she says that you want Vi to give you her heart, not her name. And I was like, I'm loving Mama Willow Mae. She said Hollywood straight. She says, go and get your woman. And we see that later on they do make up, so that was everything. But then the kicker of this episode is that Lydia, who's Charlie's private investigator, comes in and she's saying that, look, you know, the government, the land, the money, all of this stuff is starting to add up, and it's bigger than what we thought. So this also, I'm going to say that you all, you need to apologize to Charlie, because Charlie choosing to get in with the Landrys put her in a place where she can get viable information, and now she knows Landry's plan. And she presents this to the whole family, Vi, Ralph Angel, you know, Nova. They're all there, and she pretty much maps out that, look, the Landrys own all of this land, and their plan is the reason why they're eradicating all of the farmers is because they got a contract with the government, and they're about to build a private correction facility right there in St. Joe's. And that made me sick to my fucking stomach, because it's so sad that you would rather put people in a facility like cages than to give them opportunity to better their lives, where they don't have to live a life of crime because they're providing for their families, but yet create the conditions where they can't survive, and you can trap them into a system where you can lock them up, and since it's a privatized prison, you're getting money per prisoner. So there's millions and trillions to be made off of the lives of black people and black lives. So I'm like, yeah, y'all all owe a debt to Charlie, because if it wasn't for Charlie making that deal, she would have never known this. And the fact about it, due to the fact that the government's involved, Landry owns everything around St. Joe's and around, you know, the farm. So Ralph Angel is at risk because the government can take the land from him. And Ralph Angel's like, oh hell no, that ain't happening. So now we know the truth. I'm saying that when I thought about this shit, Landry's the devil. And it really kind of took me, like, with this whole military, this whole prison industrial complex and shit, it really took me to, you know, how Satan, you know, took Jesus on a mountain and showed him the cities of the world, you know. And we see that that's exactly the mentality that Landry has. He wants to own everything and wants to make everybody his subjects. He doesn't want anybody successful. He wants to be the only game in town. And then that scene told me everything. And I was like, yo, this is going to be amazing, because the three of them are going to have to come together to bat this. Because one, you're going to need Charlie's business expertise. You're going to need Nova's intelligence and her insightfulness. And we're going to need Ralph Angel's strength and his knowledge to combat this monster that is Sam Landry, who also has connections with the government, you know. So due to the fact that the government's involved, you know, the government's going to be making money off of this complex, but so will they. And there's a lot of money to be made in this situation. And due to the fact that he owns the land, you know, he pretty much owns riches. And then also, due to the fact he has other business ventures that he owns too, he's literally made it impossible for the black farmer to survive. And this is going all the way back into the young years of Ernest and Prosper. And you just really see how much of an evil sack of shit Sam Landry really is. And I am so here for them taking Sam Landry down. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of Queen Sugar. So until next time, everybody, take care.